Yeah, I'll present. Screen, is the screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Cool, 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 cool. So guys, welcome to the workshop. Um, right. So today's session is basically going to be about ROS. We'll tell you what this exactly is. It stands for Robot Operating System. And basically, this workshop is pretty important for you because out of all the lectures that is planned for you, I think this one and the one after this will be completely new for, I'll say, most of you. And this is also going to be a major component of any project that you will take in July. And basically, because you're in an online setting, you can expect that most of your work will be sort of simulations and all and like stuff related to that. And for any sort of such topics, you'll basically need to know how to use ROS and like other softwares. So like let's just start. um, Basically, ROS stands for Robot Operating System, and what this is sort of um, like very briefly, if I'll say, it like gives you libraries and tools, and using these libraries and tools, you can create robot applications, and it provides a sort of an abstraction. We'll talk about what this abstraction is, and basically this greatly aids your journey of making a robot or any sort of robotics applications. And the important thing to note is that it's open source, right? So what it exactly is a meta operating system. So what a meta operating system means is that on top of a operating system of your PC, it is built, and it allows different like processes to communicate with each other when you tell them to run it. And these processes are called nodes. So depending on whether you will be using a virtual machine or Ubuntu, you install ROS on that, and using ROS, you'll basically say, okay, these are the functions that I have to undertake in for a robot, and for each function, I'll have a sort of a dedicated process, and I'll run that process. And ROS will basically make sure that all the processes are running and coordinate between the various processes. For example, you might want to know where your robot is. So for that, you need to know sensor data as far as for example, it may be some sort of like a lidar data as to where your robot was earlier and how close is it to a wall now, or stuff like that. So basically, ROS does all of that. uh, like before we actually like go into detail about like technical details about ROS, I think it's very important for you all to understand why is it that we are focusing or stressing so much on ROS, and what exactly is this idea of ROS. So let's just start like thinking about it in very basic terms. So I think you'll all be agreeing with me that every any robot which you might think of will have multiple components, and all of these components will have multiple disciplines, right? So for a moment, I'll encourage you all to think in very abstract terms, and uh, think of a robot as a collection of modules where each module is basically a different aspect or a different component of the robot. So I just made a sort of a very basic rough figure of a robot here, if you can see. So you can say that this robot might, you can like from the top of from your first thoughts might be that this robot has a robotic arm, which is called a manipulator. It has a sort of a body. It has some sort of cube like thing. I used it to denote some sensors, and it has any robot, like any sort of mobile robot, will have some sort of drive. Yeah, so it's called a differential drive, uh, and basically all of these modules function independently and also coordinate with each other to basically function as a robot as a whole, right? So think about these modules in abstract terms. You don't really need to think about what is the camera being used, what is the manipulator being used, what is the sensor being used. Just think about it in abstract terms right now. So now you have a robotic application in mind, and you're thinking about it in very abstract terms, right? So you just like when you're about to start, you have two options in front of you. Either you decide that you'll make all of these modules from scratch, and you'll develop all these modules yourself, you calibrate them, and you'll make sure that even within the like inter-module communication is also there. What I mean by this is that you'll make sure that let's say if your differential drive, you give it a command to say move 5 meters forward in some particular direction. You'll also like the drive is coordinating with odometry data to confirm that that sort of command has actually taken place and you've actually gone forward like 5 meters, right? Or maybe it will also confirm with sensor data. It will also see the sensor data and say that, okay, from the lidar data I can read that the wall which was earlier 10 meters ahead of me is now 5 meters ahead of me, right? So stuff like that. That is what we mean by modules communicating with each other. So you can either take the hard way, which is like making everything from scratch for your robot particularly, or instead what you can do is say that, okay, you know what, we'll just as we've already thinking about a robot in abstract terms, and we have divided the robot into these sort of modules or components. Let's take a standard implementation of all of these modules which have been built before by some people, and let's have a system where the communication between these modules is taken care of, and the system also run these modules. All you have to tell the system is to give a command which tells the system to run the particular module you want. And then you on the standard modules, you can modify these to suit your purpose. So you can modify which camera you are going to use. You can input which camera you're going to use. You can input which sensor you want to use. You can input the shape of the body you want to use. You can for the drive, you can input what is the wheel characteristics, what is the friction coefficient between the ground and the wheel, any sort of stuff like that, right? And basically do that, and then also all of the standard module implementations, use them as a base to develop your application. And also, let's say you are working on a particular module where you want to add something extra, where you have actually done some sort of contribution of your own. So let's say you have a great idea about how you can. Yeah, is anybody saying anything? Can you mute, please? Cool. Yeah. So let's say you have a great idea where you say,
Kushagra, wait, I think you're muted.
yeah. Okay. All right. So where was I? Right. So sorry for that. So basically, what I was saying that, let's say you studied robot navigation a lot, and then you came up with an idea about how you can, improve robot navigation. So to test it out, you don't really need to build an entire robot on your own. You can use you can use the standard implementations, and then, integrate your updated navigation module to all of the other standard generic components. So that this second.
Yeah, Kushagra, unmute yourself.
I think like somebody's muting me. I guess.
No, I disabled the mic for all.
Oh, cool, cool. All right. So, right. I hope I was audible, right? When was I cut off, Hital?
Yeah, you were explaining about the open source thing.
Right, right. So basically, this is the second option is what ROS allows you to do, where you don't really need to take up the headache of building everything by yourself. You can just pick and choose what you want to work on, and like the other stuff you will be there for you, and you can also like make like a generic robot like if you want, and just focus on what application you have. So this is just sort of like a recap of all of that. So you don't really need to bother with like programming low level drivers. That is like you don't really need to bother with making sure that your odometry data is matching your drive data. I'm not really going into the detail of what that is. You just need to understand that you don't really need to sort of do all of the backend stuff which is there, which normally earlier you would have to do. You don't really have to do all of that now. And um, basically all of this is like at your disposal, free and open source. And like a particular advantage is that being open source, a lot of like the latest developments in robotics, right, all of that is made into usable packages which anybody can use, and that's available to you basically free, and basically it's up to you how you want to use it. And this is just like a graph I put which just tells you that basically ROS is becoming popular, and a lot of like standard industry companies also use ROS and use it in their applications. It's basically growing, and it's something that if you want to engage in robotics in the future, this is like a fundamental like basic for you to have. So like if you want to engage with machine learning, you need like to know Python, right? So for example, like similarly, if you want to like do robotics, you should know ROS. um yeah. So basically when you have like such a big open source community, you have like content coming in every day, and in fact like there's a new version of ROS released every year. And now they've also like upgraded ROS and made another thing called ROS 2, which we'll maybe see sometime in the future, not right now. So basically you can like use you just need to know how to use these packages. The content is which is developed is called packages. You just need to know how to use that, and then you can use stuff which is way beyond our level of understanding, right? So like let's say Kalman filters or whatever. So you can use a lot of stuff which you don't really need to get into how it works. You just need to know, okay, what's the package, and you can implement that easily, and basically have a robot doing stuff much more much more in terms of what you could actually have made the robot do. So that was like the basic of why to use ROS. I just wanted to like I just gave a lot of time on that because I just wanted you to appreciate that why is it that we are stressing so much on you learning ROS, right? Because any sort of application in the future for any project you made or anything you want to make, ROS is basically there to help you out. So let's just get a bit technical, not very, we won't be very technical in this lecture, in this sort of session. Let's not call it a lecture. Anyway, we won't be very technical. We just like tell you, we just like give you a brief overview, and then we'll give you like resources. We'll tell you from where you can like, get to know about this more. You just need a laptop for all of this. Anyway, so there are like three levels of concepts: a file system level, computation graph level, ROS community level. So this is just basically making you these levels are different sort of dimensional viewpoints on this big thing called ROS. So let's just start. What a ROS file system level is basically. This is how ROS will be there on your computer. I think Hitul can add in now.
Yeah.
Stuff for
So
yeah.
So the ROS file system level is basically how you manage your like. Let's suppose for a but if you make an obstacle avoiding robot, so you will write some scripts for it. Like a script would be like one script would fetch data from the lidar sensor and like put it in an array, and then the other script would like interpret that array and then like uh, do some computation on it, and like so there would be multiple scripts. So these scripts are like organized in a file system level. like after this presentation is over, during the like simulation, I will show you the file system also. Okay, so there are like multiple type of architectures in it. Like one is how the packages are stored. So basically at the base level, you have the workspace folder. Inside the workspace, you have the packages, inside which the source folder. So okay, there will be a visual representation of all this when I show it during the
So we
simulation.
don't really expect you to remember all this. Like we understand that it's a lot of information and we're just like overloading you with the information. But the expectation is that is not for you to understand all of this right now or even a week from now. The expectation from you is just to be vaguely familiar with, okay, I think I remember hearing about this, or I think I remember seeing this somewhere, right? That's the expectation, as to just being vaguely familiar with all of the stuff. So basically, a very, very crude and inaccurate analogy will be like you have some code and you want to like store it in a GitHub repo, right? So there's an order, right? You have a README file, you have stuff, different sort of files and hierarchies, right? So similarly, you have this sort of code for making a robot. So you store it in a file system level called a pack, like, and then this like these are different terms associated with all of that. The second dimensional viewpoint will be a computation graph level. So this is actually something which I think we briefly touched upon earlier. So I told you that any sort of process you want to run using ROS is called node, right? So let's say if I want to if I want to run a camera, so there'll be a dedicated node for that. And then so there are different nodes, and information from one node to another node travels something using something called a topic. And what essentially there are two components, there are two things associated with this. Firstly, you need to publish to this topic, and secondly, the associated node needs to subscribe from that topic. So let's say there are two nodes, node 1 and node 2, and you need information to flow from node 1 to node 2. So you will write a Python file or a C++ file, a publisher file, which is basically telling which is basically saying that, okay, information from node 1 will be published to topic X, and then you will also write a subscriber file which will say, okay, information from topic X is being transferred or subscribed to node 2, right? Not transferred, but read. Okay. Anyway, so so how the ROS is basically running all of that, that's called a computational graph. And they're basically different topics. There's like nodes, and the important thing here is called a master. You can see the ROS master. I think it's the second point. So what is exactly a ROS master is basically it just runs in the background and sort of connects everything together. So it's sort of like keeps an account of what all nodes are running. Are they like communicating with each other or not? What is the PCA using? So it also needs your IP address. So it basically tells us basically it's like an accountant. So a very crude analogy, again, not very accurate, but I think it will help you understand like basically what it does. So it will keep an account of what is the IP address from where information is being, like commands are being taken, and what is the IP address where commands are being executed. So if, in case you're using ROS on your own PC, both of these IP addresses will be the same. But in case, let's say you have some application you're working from your home to the robotics lab at IIT Delhi. So you'll connect to like the IIT Delhi robotics lab server, whatever it is, and then you'll say that then you'll give your IP address as the place where commands are being given, and they'll be executed there. So that place will give its corresponding IP address, right? And you'll input that all to the ROS master. And then you can also use the ROS master to find out basically what all the stuff is being run, and all the nodes, are they communicating, coordinating with each other properly or not. Again, this is a lot of information for you, so like it's okay if you don't really get what I'm saying right now. Just need to make sure that you recognize some of this stuff if it comes again in the future, right?
The simulation will help you understand this.
Right. So during the simulation, we'll like keep referring to all of this again and again. Then the ROS community level is basically the open source thing I was talking about. That you sitting in your home, how do you basically basically get like exchange content, basically software and knowledge with other people, right? So that's the community level. So distributions, repository, the ROS wiki. ROS wiki is pretty important for anything. Mostly for like tutorials and anything, you'll be going to the ROS wiki. So that's an important resource. You should like keep that in mind, that ROS wiki is something that you will be using like almost every day. Okay, cool. That just like ends it here, the dimensional viewpoints. Anyway, another thing we want to introduce you besides ROS, let's just like forget about ROS for 2 minutes, is called Gazebo. What this Gazebo is exactly, basically, I think it's already written, so it will be redundant to speak it out again. A simulator, and basically whatever robot you make, you need to simulate it somewhere, right? You need to have a simulation of it. That is where Gazebo kicks in. It's made by, I think, a
Open Source Robot
organization called
Foundation.
Open Robotics, right? Open Robotics. Yeah. I think they're also behind ROS or something. Anyway, so and basically it uses like different file formats where where these file formats essentially say that describe the shape of the robot, the size of the robot, its different attributes, what sensors you use, and so forth. And ROS is what coordinates all those attributes, tells which tells according to according to the commands that you give, it tells different sensors to be activated, deactivated for different stuff to happen, and so forth. And sort simulation software is sort of where you see all of that happening, right? So that is basically it. And it makes use of something called URDF. So it's called it means a universal word description format. It's sort of like XML, if you know what XML is. And there's also another file format called STL. I think it stands for Standard Tessellation Language. Yeah. So STL is basically what is used in 3D printing. So I don't know if your MCP 101 happened online or not. So basically, for 3D printing, if you were in the IIT, you would have had a lecture on how 3D printing happens, and they would also have 3D printed something there. So that 3D printing, basically the format in which information is put as to how that 3D printing will happen is called STL, Standard Tessellation Language, or Standard Triangulation Language. And that STL format is also used in Gazebo, because you're essentially at the end of the day simulating like 3D bodies, right? It's just like a picture of Gazebo again. I think now we can like switch over. Hetal can take over and like show you stuff. Just 1 second. Any sort of doubts or anything, you guys can like write in the chat. So basically, ROS use. Yeah, Samarth, that's like a sort of the gist of it. I won't like say it's like completely correct, but yeah, you can say that this is something. This is like one of the things you can do in ROS. Again, like we are talking at very abstract levels. So yeah. Any sort of question or anything before we start with the second component of today's lecture? Yeah, I understand, Tarun. काफी बहुत overwhelming है. Basically, our motivation here is not to teach you everything in one day, because that is just not possible. Our motivation here is to tell you that XYZ topics exist, and we'll give you a brief overview of everything at the first day. Then you have sort of 1 month to figure everything out, right? So you have 1 month to work on the project. That is when you can refer to these things back and forth and say, okay, this I need, and then let's just need this is all of these lectures are being taken just to make sure that when you are stuck, right, when you're stuck in the project, you have some sort of idea as to where is it that you need to search for an answer, right? That's the basic funda for all of these lectures.
Okay,
Anyway, Hital,
so
I'll mute now. You can take over. What Hital is doing right now is just like giving some sort of like hint, basically helping you out. What we'll expect you to like install ROS, have like ROS working on your setup within a few days, and then we'll take the second lecture. So before that, I basically see what Hital is doing, and this is very important. Basically, setting up ROS.
okay, so first of all, I would like Kushagra, there are some links in your presentation which I would ask you to like put it in the chat, I think.
Cool, cool, cool. I'll do
And
that.
also like after the session we'll be sharing the PPT, so you can refer that. Okay. So first of all, like the initial step is to get Ubuntu running. Okay. So for that, there are two methods: either dual boot your system. Okay, so dual booting is basically having two operating systems running side by side on the same hard disk. Okay, and the other option is virtualization or making a virtual machine. So like for like advanced usage of ROS and all, I would suggest you all to dual boot the system, because like there is no there is like a lot of performance benefit in that. Meanwhile, the VM, like when you use a virtual machine, there is a lot of I would say lag, and like you won't be able to use your systems, like whatever the stuff your system has at the fullest. So I would suggest to like get a like in the starting phase get a virtual machine, and then later on move on to a dual boot system. Okay, so installing Linux takes some time, so we won't be doing that in this session, but on the Discord channel and the I think announcement section, we'll put some links to how like on how to either dual boot your system or install a virtual machine. Okay, and also the links to ROS installation. Okay, so for ROS, yeah, okay. The system is already. Um, Kushagra, if you
Yeah.
won't mind, can you just do a Q&A session right now? I'll just switch my operating system to Ubuntu. I think virtual machine is bugging me out again.
Cool, cool, cool. Hold it. Guys, questions or anything? Like, are you guys muted? All of you are muted, kya? Any sort of questions or sort of like stuff? Are how do you manage permissions in this team? Sorry, I don't really use Teams, so I have no idea. I'll unmute you once. Can you please just conclude the answer to question what exactly is ROS? So basically, to conclude, ROS is something which will help you in making a robot, in identifying what, basically it is what you will refer to for making any sort of component for any sort of robot. You will for all of the code that goes into the robot, you will you be using code from ROS libraries, and so basically all of the stuff that will be in the processing unit of the robot, right, or in the computer, all of that you'll be using from ROS libraries. That is like the simplest answer I can give.
Okay, so am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I hope the screen is visible. I'll start with like the basic installation procedure and all. Okay, so initially you have to go to ROS Wiki and Noetic. Like there are various distributions of ROS. We'll be using Noetic on Ubuntu 20.
Yeah. So basically distribution means like version. If anybody is not really familiar with terminology, distribution means like version, like Windows 8, Windows 10, SNA. So similarly, you have ROS, Kinetic, ROS, Melodic, ROS, Noetic. So every year, roughly, they release one distribution. So the latest one is Noetic. And after Noetic, there won't be, I think, future distributions of ROS. There'll be instead distributions of something called ROS 2.
Yeah, I think they have already started with ROS 2 with ROS Foxy.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically like the steps are all like written here clearly. So basically you have to just open up the terminal and start with like putting these commands and all. So basically they have this all like stored as a single package, and then you have to like get the GitHub keys and all from step 1.2 and 1.3, and then install it, like update your repository, and then in this option, like in this step 1.4, select this option. Okay, like put this command, ignore these two. This has been also written in the presentation. Okay, so and also ROS installation might get buggy a few times because like it's still like today also when I was doing ROS installation, like just checking it once again, it was like creating problems for me. So I would suggest that not to get frustrated too quickly on this, ask us on the Discord channel, and um, yeah, also do not try to like reinstall ROS multiple times because that thing also creates a lot of problem. Yeah, so after doing this installation, you like you can also install some extra packages. So all the packages are like in this format. Like the installation step is very similar. You have to just do okay. After this, you do the double tap, and like these are all the packages which ROS has. So these are like a few of them. Just you can see more. Okay. So these are like all developed by the various people in the community and open sourced to everyone. After that, you have to set up your environment. Okay. So what this step does is that it lets your operating system Ubuntu know where ROS has been installed. So you just put in this command in your terminal. Okay. And like this command has to be put in every time you use a terminal for ROS. So to like because this is very tedious, to just prevent this thing, you can directly put it in your bash rc. So the bash rc is a file where like multiple commands are written, and these commands are automatically executed when you open any terminal. Okay, so I'll just show you what a bash rc looks like. Okay, so these are like all the commands I have set up for like, I think, yeah, everything before line 117 is like by default. After that, I have this line lets us know like where ROS is installed. The second one is where my workspace for ROS. And the third one is the TotalBot model. We'll get into this like after a few minutes. Okay. And then go through these steps. So these are like the dependencies ROS needs. ROS needs Python 3, and like C++ is already there, but Python 3 is also required, and and a couple few packages to like interpret the Python files and all. Okay, and then like continue with this step and then these two. Okay, so this installs this will install all the dependencies of ROS. After this, you can continue to the tutorials. Okay, so like I would suggest you all to like after the session, after completing your ROS installation, uh, at least complete the beginner tutorials by the next session, I think. How many days do we have till the next session? It's on 27th, right?
We'll see. We only have to take the session that we'll make
Yeah,
it flexible. So
we'll
that
make it flexible. So at least do the beginner level of ROS tutorials. Okay. So in the tutorial, this is the publisher and subscriber, the computation graph level, which we were talking about. Okay. So uh, I'll walk you through a simple example for that. Okay.
before like we start, before you do that, just like a word of advice that you're bound to have some sort of problems while doing all of this installation business and dual booting or using a virtual machine or whatnot. So basically, whatever problem you have, for like put it in the Discord server, and we might not be able to help you with that because frankly we also are not very familiar with all of that stuff, right? We just know how to get ROS working and then use ROS. So what you can also do is like basically refer to the net at every point, because whatever sort of error you have, somebody else is bound to have had that at some point of time, and basically every error is already solved. So like refer to the net. Don't really, especially while dual booting or installing ROS, don't take hasty decisions. Don't try to reinstall stuff again and again. That will damage your PC, and you might not be able to. Um, you might not be able to basically. You might make some error in some directory, and you won't know where it is, and then forever your PC will have some sort of problem.
Yeah,
Don't
you will have to basically erase Ubuntu and then
Huh,
reinstall Ubuntu and
yeah,
then continue.
yeah. So don't really take decisions in haste. Search on the net, see from 2, 3 sources. If you have a problem, then sort of apply whatever solutions there. All right, and
So, uh, okay, so let's start with the file system level. So there is this folder Catkin workspace. Okay, so this is basically the folder which has everything related to ROS in it. Okay, so Catkin is a functionality which helps you to create packages and manage like a directory or a file system structure. Okay, so it has built-in devel folders. These are like auto-generated folders which have certain like different formats of the same code and like some compilation work and all of the code which you write in the source folder. Okay, this is the source folder, going into which like let's suppose this is what I was doing earlier for like computer vision lane detections. Okay, and these two are like the TurtleBot folder. So basically these are the packages. Okay, so right now we are at the package level. Earlier we were at the workspace level. Okay, so inside every package, let's suppose TurtleBot simulation. Okay, we come into this meta package. Sorry, these are the packages levels. This is the meta package level. Okay, so in this TurtleBot 3 Gazebo world, Gazebo like this package. Okay, this package will have the source folder, and like this is a code, like this code is for a ROS node. Okay, so this is the file system structure of ROS. Okay, now I'll quickly run you through a simulation and show you the computation graph system. Okay, so first of all, to like to run any ROS command and all, like to run any ROS simulation, you have to start ROS core. Okay, and then in a new ROS core is basically it starts the ROS master. Okay, and then it also tells you like on what IP address it is running. Okay, so this is like Strix, that is this PC, and the port number 1131. Okay, and then on the other tab we'll
right. Just slow down a bit. Like I just add some stuff here. So the packages and all you saw, whatever content you will like sort of get from ROS libraries, right? Those come in the form of packages, and within packages, like basically there'll be different sort of like just go back, Hital, just go back. Yeah. So you can see that for lane detection, there's like a different module. एक बार Turtlebot 3 open करो. So in this, the description will have sort of the body about everything about the body of the Turtlebot. So Turtlebot, for just for reference, is sort of a open source robot, right? It's a very famous robot. They say R2D2 is a sort of a robot. वैसे fictional although, but वैसे Turtlebot 3 is also a type of a robot. So the just go back one step.
So I would also like to add, like in this Turtlebot 3, so this folder is like describing everything about the Turtlebot 3.
So there are like different sort of different sort of modules. Slam means navigation. Then teleop means moving the robot using your commands, right? Description will be your body. So these are all different modules of the different modules that we're talking about earlier in a single package, right? That's the idea. And then you inside all these there'll be commands which you run. So processes called nodes will come up and they'll run, and basically ROS master is what holds all of that. Here, just type ROS core in your terminal.
Yeah, this is ROS core.
Yeah. So if you run ROS core, this is basically running in the background, and whatever node you tell it to execute, it will do that and make sure that the communication between all of them is also happening. And एक बार ROS topic list या ऐसा कुछ कर.
I don't think अभी कोई ROS topics इतने चल रहे हैं.
ROS out आएगा ना बस.
Yeah, but I'll see.
So usually error ROS topic. So usually what all nodes etc. running, right? You can view that using this sort of command. This is just like extra information. So basically right now nothing much is running, only that ROS core is running or ROS master is running. So that's why it's only showing ROS out. This was that, and anything from the PPT which I can tell you right now. Let me just see.
And the third level was, okay, that was the community level.
Okay, cool. So here to continue.
Yeah. Okay, so after this, like I'll restart up. I'll launch a package. Okay, so that goes with the command ROS launch. Okay, so now comes the package name. So I'll go with Turtlebot 3 Gazebo. Okay, Turtlebot 3 stage 4. Okay, so this is basically a Gazebo file. Okay, so this will boot up the Gazebo GUI, in which you can like. So here it is. So this is the whole like simulated environment, and this you can see this is the robot Turtlebot waffle pie, and like this is a simple like environment. You can also make custom environments for like for your purpose. Okay, now we'll maybe like let's try a teleoperation on this. Okay. Did I close the wrong terminal? Okay. And I closed the wrong terminal. Wait.
So how that is working is basically ROS launch means that you are about to run something using ROS, and then Turtlebot 3 Gazebo will tell you that you are simulating something in Gazebo, and then you put in the particular file name, basically the script which you are using, and that is I don't remember what that was, but anyway, so basically then that will turn into a process called node, and then teleop basically means using your laptop arrow keys to move the robot in the simulation. So here again you can see that you using the teleop package, turtlebot 3 underscore teleop. So basically just telling it where that sort of the command, the code that you want to run, where that is. So it's in the teleop package, and the file in particular is called a launch. It's called a launch file, and there it is.
Okay,
And
so now you
now,
can see
yeah,
that I am giving commands from my keyboard using the WASD keys, and the robot is moving. Okay, so this is basically like in the current example, there is the teleop node. This teleop node is a simple publisher. Okay, so this publishes to a topic called CMD well, and from that topic, the robots like odometry, or I think the transform, yeah, the transform node, which is a subscriber that
ये confusing होगा. Just like open ROS topic list once it. That
yeah.
will be better too. And वो competition graph भी बना दे.
हाँ, वो RQT वाला I'll show. So these are all the topics which are running right now. So here you can see the transform is basically the pose or like the coordinates of the robot, and CMD well is basically the wheel velocities and all. Odometry is the direction in which the robot is facing and all. Okay, or
So
how much it has
transform, you
moved.
can roughly think of it as in APL 100, you must have like learned about coordinate frames, right? So you'll think that it has some sort of position with respect to the ground frame and some sort of orientation in space, right? Rotation, roll, pitch, or whatever. So that all is sort of handled by TF. एक बार hit will make the RQT graph. So you can see, I hope you get the idea. So using ROS, you didn't really have to code any of the coordination between the teleoperation and the sensors or any of that. You just had to run different processes. You told it run. You told ROS, I want a simulation which is in form of gazebo. So it did that simulation. You told ROS that I need to move this robot using my laptop keys. So you ran the teleop node. So ROS did that. You did not have to do any sort of communication between different processes on your own. That all ROS is doing in the background, and ROS core is sort of coordinating everything right now, right? Hetal, just zoom in on this.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't zoom into the RQT graph.
अरे होता है.
What's the command?
I don't remember.
एक मिनट.
हाँ all ठीक है. So you can see that basically this is like basically this corresponds to velocity. So the
So this is our topic.
yeah. So the teleop node which you're using, right, it automatically is communicating with this velocity, and that is or the velocity topic, and that is automatically being subscribed by Gazebo, the simulation software. You did not have to do any of that on by yourself. That is basically all of that is done by the compute by ROS, right? So that is the sort of advantage of ROS. You just need to focus on what you want, and you don't really need to worry about the background processes at all. Yeah.
And what all can we show them?
Maybe show them make a map, maybe G mapping करते हैं.
Yeah, G mapping, right?
वो robotics वाला खोल ले, I guess. If you want to refer to what all has to be done.
No. I think. Okay, got it. Slam G mapping. Are we supposed to also specify the
RVs भी तो खोल.
हाँ, I guess उसमें specify करना पड़ता है file name.
So like Gazebo is there. There's also something called RViz. This is also basically making use of. This is also like important for simulation. You'll also use RViz.
So this is basically a visualization software, and all the data which is going in and out can be like
So you
visualize
use it
there.
to account for different stuff. So if you like example have a camera, you can see if the camera running properly, is the transform frame running properly, any sort of node which is being operated, is it doing its work properly? All of that you can see.
Yeah, okay, so we like add in a robot model. So here you can see the model is already there, but yeah, it's not moving. So for that, we have to attach its topic to it. Where do we select the topic? Okay. Here on the map. It's predominantly.
Base link hota hai na, I think.
Base footprint was for the other one.
Base link. अरे इस पे नहीं आएगा. This is your own custom package ना, इसलिए नहीं आएगा. Anyway, इस पे नहीं आएगा. It won't come on this because this is your own custom package, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that we'll show you next time. It's very easy. What you have to do. Basically, why isn't it running right now? Is because let's say 2 out of the 3 nodes are there, so it doesn't have the final node. So I think this is also like an important example. We can see that why you have why are you breaking everything down into different components? Is that even if one component of your robot fails, right, everything else works. So it's not that is like one sort of error creates a bottleneck and your robot shuts down entirely. It's just that other processes will continue working properly. It's that one problem which you can fix easily and identify where is the problem and you can fix it.
Okay, so like after making the map of this arena, okay, it will look like this or this one.
Samarth is asking for movement. You must set up the velocities rotation for every click. Basically, it is already understood that like this key will increment this much angular velocity or this much like linear velocity.
Yeah, so like not for every tick or like for every process process time unit you have to specify like which direction it will move. Like here you can see every time I pressed W, what it did was that in the X direction the linear velocity was incremented by 0.1 meters,
right.
0.01
So he
meters.
pressed W again, so it became 0.02. He pressed W again, it became 0.03 and so on. Then at some point when you can see the angular velocity going to 0.1, what he did was he turned the left key also. So now you have like so many like with forward velocity, you also have something in the like tangential direction. So now you have like circular motion, right? Yeah. Anything else to show them, Heta? Naina?
I don't think anything else is there.
Okay, so basically we know that it's a lot for you to understand and you might not have understood most of the things that you're talking about, but that's completely all right. As I said earlier, the idea is not for you to understand everything right now. The idea for you is to sort of know buzzwords or key points which you will have to explore while you're doing the project. And the idea is that you just keep a track of what all the keywords and buzzwords are being used, and whenever you have a problem, you have some sort of idea as to this is the direction I have to proceed in. Like this is like if you want to do if you want to move a robot, you have to do teleoperation. You should know that. That's all, right? So all like that's basically the intention of this sort of lecture. And the idea is that over like 1 month, as you interact and as you like do your project, you'll basically come across different problems. You'll ask doubts on Discord. You'll surf the net and basically find and basically learn, right? That's how you'll learn. That's how whatever we know, we've also learned like that only. And like I think like our batch, like Hetal and I are primarily using ROS, not in robotics lab as it is. ROS wasn't being used earlier a lot, so we are trying to get ROS as something which is basic and everybody knows, because it's a very fundamental prerequisite for you to have to engage in robotics, right? You can't be making CAD models and just expecting that CAD models say robotics mera ho jayega, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
and
now the question is what basically you take away from the session, right? what you take away from the session is that um, um, you don't really need to know any programming language. If you know some sort of Python, I think Paul 100 may you did Python.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically that's enough. You most probably will not even be writing the code in Python. You most probably will, what you will be doing is using existing code, just a link, just telling the computer, this is the code I want, right? So
Yeah,
you,
and slightly modifying it according to your.
yeah, slightly modifying it. You don't go home and think, basically don't exit the session thinking that I need to know C++ or Java or Python or C or whatever it is in the next 3 days. No, not at all. What you're supposed to do is the following. um, the next session is on 26th or 27th. Let me just see. Actually, you did C in call 100. No worries, no worries. You'll get the hang of it. Python is very basically, if you did C, you will know Python easily. It's just like commands you new. You will get to know whatever there is. Let me just see what the session is.
Also, I think in the next session, we'll like if many of you are able to install ROS and maybe run the TurtleBot simulation once, okay, by your own.
Yeah, right. So
Then
the next session is on 25th, right? So we'll keep the session a bit late. We'll keep the session a bit late, and 25th. So you have like approximately 2 days. What your task or what we expect from you is, after the session ends, you will figure out either virtual machine or dual boot your PC, right? Use the internet for that. If we are not sure, we can help with that. But anyway, ask your doubt on Discord. Yeah, if we can't help, we let you know that ask this on the, like, basically serve the net for that, for whatever doubt you have, because at the end of the day, we are also students like you, just 1 year senior. We also don't really know a lot of stuff. And after installing virtual machine or dual boot or whatever there is, second uh, the second thing you have to do is install ROS, make sure ROS Noetic is working. And after the end, how do you check everything is working? Uh, Type ROS core in your terminal. If it works fine, then that means your installation is up to like, speed. एक बार है कि just write ROS core once in your terminal.
yeah.
Yeah, so if that happens, it might take some time the first time, but if that happens on your terminal, that means you're all set, right? That is where we want you to reach firstly in 2 days, right? We're not asking too much. Basically whatever bugs you have, just surf the net and sort it out. This
I
is
would
what you
also
need to reach.
suggest you to like install TurtleBot.
Right. After this, TurtleBot will कर लेंगे बाद में. After this, what you can additionally do, and we encourage you to do, so that you can understand a lot of more stuff, is go to ROS Wiki. Go to ROS Wiki once.
Yeah.
Like the first, just do ROS Wiki, normal ROS Wiki. TurtleBot is basically like a.
That's
So
on
yeah.
Robotus.
So this you'll get to this page, read the introduction. You've already installed ROS, so basically use this to install ROS. Basically, ROS Wiki is your go-to for any sort of reference you need. Okay. So after that, getting started, you complete whatever is there in getting started, and you'll click the tutorials. You'll run through the beginner level tutorials. Core ROS tutorials may you'll do all the beginner level tutorials. You do not need to write the code in this from scratch. You can simply copy paste the code. We don't have any problems, because that's also what everybody does. What you need to do is understand what you're copy pasting, right? Because this is like building blocks, right? You don't really need to basically, if there's a for loop, you should know what the for loop is doing, right? So that's the basic idea, that these are basic building blocks that you will need for any sort of ROS application that you build. So basically you are familiar with what all of that code is doing. You don't need to memorize the code. You don't need to be able to write that code from scratch. It's completely all right that if you need that, you go to ROS Wiki and copy paste it every time you need. You just need to understand what it's doing. After you do that, the second sort of thing we encourage you to do is go to ROS. This robotics website, we'll also send a link, and do the complete quick start guide, and do the simulate, and then after that go to simulation 6.
Yeah.
Go to
No,
6.
like first thing is like you have to install the dependencies for
Right.
TotalBot. So like as in when you come on this quick start guide, okay, select no attack here, okay. This is important. After this, you have to like skip this step, okay, installing ROS1 because
Because
you've
you've already done
done
that.
this, okay, and then run these commands, this one and these three, okay. So this will install the TotalBot description formats and all. So basically, what the TotalBot STL files and all, okay, all that will be there in your system. After this, you come to the simulation part.
And do everything that the simulation is telling you. All
So
right.
yeah, here you have to do these three commands, okay, and
Hetal, can you put a video tutorial for VM and Ubuntu Dual Boot? Somebody's asking.
yeah,
YouTube का डाल दियो link,
yeah,
right?
YouTube got it. I'll put it on the announcement channel, okay, in
So,
Discord.
मतलब like I just want some feedback. Is like out of all the sessions, if somebody's attended, can you like tell if this is like very drastically different from what you've done in other sessions? मतलब, or basically you've not done
Like if
anything.
anyone wants to speak up, just raise
Can
your
you
hand. I'll
unmute?
unmute.
Hetal, can you unmute?
Yeah.
Can you unmute
Okay,
everyone?
I'll unmute all. Wait.
I don't know how to do it. You only did it. देख ले. I think participants
The
पे जाके
problem is that I did it on Windows.
अच्छा Ubuntu पे अलग है.
इसका GUI different है Ubuntu में. I'm not getting the option. I mean, मतलब you all can like request to speak, like raise your hand. I'll unmute you specifically.
Right. If anybody wants to say anything, um, raise your hand and Hetal will unmute you. Sorry for that. We're not really comfortable with Teams. MS Teams sucks. Anyway. Okay, nobody really wants to say anything. Anyway, so we just hope that you realize that this is something new that you're going to be doing.
Okay, I have allowed everyone to unmute. Now you can.
We realize it's a big bite to chew, Tarun. So the expectation is that you just realize that this is something new that you're going to be doing, and this is something just to get the hang of. It'll take a month, right? So basically, get started. Aditya Mathur wants to speak up, man. Now you have the permission. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Aditya, you can unmute.
Hello, sir. So for Mac user, we have to use Bootcamp for ROS installation, or is there any way to install
Yeah,
the?
not
For
really
Mac,
sure.
for Mac users, I mean, first of all, though, all the best running the virtual machine. I mean, that will be the hardest thing to do. Okay. Apart from that, you'll have to like, if possible, try dual booting it. Okay. Like I've seen my friends dual boot MacBooks to Windows. Okay. So I think I would suggest dual boot on Mac because already there is a lot of hardware. Like the hardware is not much good in Macs. So like there is no GPU and all. So you will have a hard time with a MacBook, I guess. But I would suggest that I would suggest you to go for a dual boot. Okay. And there is this question by Deep: how much hard disk space is required? I guess around 50 gigabytes would do. 50 to 60 gigabytes.
वो भी मतलब
And
you being generous, right? मतलब not really sure if you use ROS उतना ढंग से.
hmm. and the RAM would be like if we are dual booting, so then it won't be a problem. Like it would be same as your system RAM. Let it be like most of you it would be 8 GBs. Okay, so when you select the swap memory, uh, yeah, I'm coming to the virtual machine. For virtual machine, like do it 2 GB less than your system RAM. Okay, but I would
Tarun
still
नहीं लगता
suggest
50-60 just like we're just going a bit overboard. So in case you want to use anything in the future, which like takes up,
Yeah,
in case you
like
become a
until
pro
5060,
in
I've thought of
ROS.
it like if you switch to like adding more stuff in your Ubuntu. I mean, Ubuntu is really good for programming and testing out other things also. So
Right. So, in case you become a pro in anything
I
which
mean,
needs Ubuntu.
I started with 5060 GBs, and then currently I'm at 300. So like so it will like increase ऐसे धीरे धीरे. So if you like think of doing any type of coding or development in the future, I would suggest that going for a higher volume Ubuntu system directly.
Acha, in Call 100, did you guys do some sort of basics to Ubuntu? Yeah, was it on Windows only? Did it tell you to like use Ubuntu?
It wasn't any OS specific.
No, sir.
Acha,
It was
nahi
just
tha.
from
Acha.
Windows.
So, what we'll recommend you is basically get familiar with basic Ubuntu commands like ls, cd, pressing tab for recommendations and all of that. So,
Yeah.
I think that's that's like a 5-minute job. Just like search common Ubuntu commands, right? For terminal, and basically get familiar with those commands because those help you, right? Those help you. And
Also,
just a suggestion: don't use Vim editor because it's a bit different to use. It's a bit difficult to use at the first time. Use Gedit
yeah, it's all
if you're using
keyboards.
Linux.
So and a lot of keybinds in Vim. So I would suggest VS Code. Okay, it also VS Code also has a few plugins for ROS, and like so it will help you autofill most of like the requirements and all. Also, I would suggest that while you are booting a system with Linux and all, you might come across a thing called ROS for Windows. Please refrain from doing so. Okay?
Don't use that. You think that Arey wah, I'll use ROS for Windows. Don't use that.
Also, Ubuntu 20.04 and ROS Pneumatic. Okay.
Yeah, Ubuntu 20.04 ROS Noetic. Keep that in mind, right? Don't use alag. Don't mix it up. ROS Noetic and Ubuntu 20.04. Don't use Windows wala. It's like calling khichdi risotto. Matlab, don't do that. Don't use the Windows wala version. Arduino is something completely different. Matlab,
Yeah. Okay.
basically you can also use ROS in conjunction with Arduino. बात की बात है. Don't get confused.
Dakshit, abhi like keep Arduino aside. We'll first
ROS
do
is
the
for
RAM
everything
simulation.
robot. ROS is for everything robot. Arduino has its limitations.
Yeah, and like if time permits, like after all these sessions, I would conduct a small session on ROS serial, which basically connects ROS with Arduinos. Okay.
Yeah, ROS is not just for simulation. It's like basically for everything ROS, for everything robotics.
Yeah.
Anyway, ठीक है. So we've already told you what to do. Install virtual machine or dual boot or whatever. Make sure you got ROS running. ROS core. Enter ROS core. If you get that, if you don't get any error, that means you succeeded. Congratulations. After that, go to ROS wiki. Get started on the beginner tutorials and also go to the TurtleBot 3 website on robot tests and do the quick setup guide and the simulation guide. And we'll send you all of these links. Right? It will be in the PPT. I think like 5 minutes after this session ends, we'll put the PPT. Final questions, closing questions, whatever you guys want, what do you guys expect, how are you guys feeling, whatever.
सर अगर रॉस अच्छे से इंस्टॉल नहीं होता है सर तो फिर हम उसे अनइंस्टॉल कर सकते हैं?
That is like थोड़ा hard. I mean,
मतलब what
you have
क्योंकि
to
फिर
go in.
टर्मिनल में कोई
I
कमांड
was
लिखनी
very
पड़ेगी ना सर?
frustrated. मेरे साथ हुआ था like I had an earlier version of ROS, so I deleted that and I put a new like the Noetic distribution. But a lot of stuff gets left behind, and it's not very easy to cleanly remove ROS. So what I had to do is I had to erase Ubuntu and basically do the dual booting again, so that and then on a clean dual boot install ROS again. So in case ROS ढंग से install नहीं होता, do that dual booting thing again. That's the easiest option for you, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
ओके सर.
Hmm.
But I mean,
Right.
like बता देना what problem you're facing.
हाँ.
So like I think मैंने I guess कल भी problem मुझे आई थी and the installation of ROS.
The
So
thing
I
is that
think
they
I'll be
update
able
some
to.
stuff, right? But matlab they, like for example, ROS Notic uses Python 3 instead of Python 2, and the earlier versions of ROS were using Python 2. So if your computer by default has like Python 2 running, so that will be a problem. Yeah, there are some files which expect to open py, but
Yeah, see, like
you will have
the
py3.
problem I
That will be
had
a
today
problem.
was
So basically, migration to basically a new system is always a problem. Those sort of troubles happen, and those are honestly very easily solved. Also, you just need to whatever error you're getting, just copy paste to the net. You get a solution.
okay. So like for example, the error which I had today was basically uh, in the code provided on the website. It says like here, yeah, it says specifying the environment of compiling code as Python. Okay, but when I checked in my Ubuntu, it was Python 3.8, the folder name. Okay, so the basic difference was that the file name was different. So all you had to do was just add 3.8 at the end
Hmm.
of this
Or
file.
what you can alternatively do is like there's some command which says that from now on, whatever you read as Python, interpret it as Python 3.8 or
Yeah,
whatever.
creating a
So,
symbolic link.
so that I don't remember the exact command. देख लेना internet पे मिल जाएगा. Anyway, हाँ, so all of these BTs आएंगी और तुम solve कर लोगे. No worries. Okay, मतलब any other stuff, मतलब speak up, now's the time as we end the session.
सर आपने रॉस और वीएस कोड के बारे में कुछ बोला था, वो रिपीट कर दीजिए प्लीज.
Yeah, ROS or VS Code the thing is that VS Code has some plugins which helps you to like there is this auto completion feature and all, and कभी कभी ऐसा भी होता है ना, if you like write a certain command or a function, it automatically includes its source file or a header file. Okay, तो वैसे कुछ like बस
वो
shortcuts.
मतलब अभी तुम्हारे लिए relevant नहीं है, उतना minute detail है, तुम्हें मतलब अभी सुनोगे तो confuse हो जाओगे, मतलब बिना you attention
Basically,
दो.
like the thing is that VS Code has एक minute. So VS Code may like you can simultaneously have multiple environments. Like what I do is that there is the CMake lists. So basically this defines the dependencies of your package. Okay, the CV lane detection I wrote it in C++. Okay, but meanwhile if I also want to use some machine learning and all, which I don't know good in like C++. So what I'll do is that I will write a similar code in Python. So like VS Code has better compatibility with multiple languages using at once, being used at once. Okay, and
And
then
like another advantage of ROS was I forgot that in the same robot, in the same package, you can have some files of Python and some files of C++. You don't really need to care. It's and then like just run like ROS can run both the files. There's something called ROSPy and there's something called ROS CPP. So ROS can take care of C++ and Python files at the same time. So let's say there are two of you working. One of you is familiar with C++. One of you likes Python. So in the same robot, in the same module, in fact, you can like have different nodes running of different languages. It's just that basically because you're using ROS, everything is like modular, abstract, so you don't need to worry about the language.
yeah.
Uh,
Also, you don't have to install any specific Python version in it. Okay, so like when you get Ubuntu 20.04,
Whatever
Python is
Python you
already
have is fine.
Python is already there. Okay, just try
Again,
this
not a problem. Not a problem.
Python
3.9,
3.
whatever it is. You just have to like initially you'll have to like make one statement, read what Python, whatever it is, as whatever version you have. There's some sort of whenever you get the error, copy paste it, you get the exact line you have to add. No worries.
Also, of all the queries related to ROS, I'll make a separate channel for that,
Hmm.
so that we keep the queries of ROS
So just
separate
keep ROS
on
queries
one.
separate because ROS queries will be most of your queries. So we don't want other queries to be sort of to sort of drown in this flood of ROS queries. So we'll make a separate ROS query channel. Add that, and like if you see a query being posted and you've like sort of already solved that on your own, please do matlab respond. Don't leave it to us. If you know the answer, do respond.
So first we have to install Ubuntu double boot or VM, then install ROS, and
Yeah.
then we have to check, right?
Yeah. Then you have to check
it's
ROS
preferred
code.
for dual boot. So you prefer dual boot, right?
Prefer dual boot.
Yeah.
Matlab, like
Also,
if you
a
on
word of
Windows,
advice.
मतलब like I never use a virtual machine. I dual booted only. मतलब देख लो तो dual boot ही कर लो. Best है.
Especially like जब RAM वगैरह कम हो तो.
Like my laptop is does not really have very good specs. So like virtual machine was very slow. I couldn't even open the net properly in time to install, like go to the ROS wiki page. So I just deleted it then and there and did do a dual boot.
Where I want to do.
So I'll just list down all the steps. Basically, it's install Ubuntu and then install ROS. Check ROS core. Okay, ROS core command.
Then do your get it वो -rc वो तो है tutorials.
That is in like installing
Right.
ROS tutorials.
Do getting started and tutorial section of ROS wiki. Started and beginner tutorials in ROS wiki.
Yeah. And after this, install
Robotist website, Turtlebot. It's ROBOTIS anyway.
समझ गए.
हाँ समझ जाएंगे. Sections of getting started and a quick startup guide and simulation.
Okay.
Don't use the other sections. Do not go to the other sections because the other sections assume that you have a physical Turtlebot ready. So it will look very relevant to you, but तुम्हारे पास होगा नहीं तो what use? So like quick start guide and simulation guide. Only these two sections you have to do from the Robotist website. Okay, we'll just like put up the slides in a minute. Final like closing queries, whatever. Then we'll end the session.
And like after this, if you're still like having some time and like are successful to do all this, you can try tutorials by Construct Sim on YouTube. Okay.
वो यार बहुत weird होता है उसका. Anyway.
हाँ ठीक है, मतलब देख सकते हैं.
हाँ. All right, guys. So we'll end the session here as there are no more queries.
So right now we need to install VS Code or not?
Sorry, what?
VS Code, like to edit code, you can do it in a text editor, but like,
VS Code
after
जरूरी नहीं
installing
है,
ROS,
optional है, चाहिए तो ले
Not
लो.
so good for writing code.
So मतलब वो use कर सकते हैं ना सर ऐसे.
हाँ मतलब तुम यार अभी कोड लिखोगे भी नहीं अपने आप, अभी चिल मारो. तुम दूसरों का कोड पे एक लाइन लिखोगे रॉस का कि रन दैट कोड.
अच्छा.
मतलब तुम रोबोटिक्स में ऐसे मत सोचो कि तुम्हें बहुत सारी कोडिंग कर रहे हो तुम, जैसे कॉम्पिटिटिव कोडिंग में करते हो. नहीं, तुम बस अपने काम चला रहे हो. क्योंकि जो इसके कॉन्सेप्ट्स वगैरह होते हैं वो इतने हाई लेवल होते हैं तुम कर ही नहीं पाओगे. लाइक अगर तुम्हें मतलब लाइक रोबोटिक्स के लिए C++ जो भी तुम ढंग से यूज करते हो टेक्स लाइक 10-12 years टू गेट प्रोफिशिएंट इटसेल्फ. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि यू कैन लाइक गेट स्टार्टेड अभी एंड राइट कोड ऑफ योर ओन ढंग से. ठीक है, so that's not the expectation from you. Expectation from you is to run whatever content is being given to you using the open source community, right? Basic URDF files लिखोगे तुम, which is like XML, very easy to do. Like मतलब हाँ, otherwise तो बाकी like other stuff like navigation and all, it's like very high level. You'll need to know math, you'll need to know मतलब you'll need to know particle filters, Kalman filters, you need to know पता नहीं क्या Rao Blackwellization, whatever.
If you want to do like too much of navigation and all, then you'll come into like
I mean
data structure
people do
वगैरह start करना
PhDs.
होगा. and all.
people do PhD and all of that, and then they make matlab stuff. So matlab don't really think that you'll be able to contribute anything to the code. You'll just be able to edit few parts of it. Na? ठीक है, like do all of this, then we'll meet on 25th. थोड़ा late रख लेंगे session so that like you have time in the morning also for 25th to complete, and then also 25th में also we'll keep it light. We'll try to keep it light and basically just like you without
Maybe we'll try to show you how to make an object avoiding robot. Okay.
ज़्यादा हो जाएगा यार hater.
नहीं मतलब basically you have to read the data, थोड़ा सा computation,
कर
and
लेंगे.
then you have to just
हाँ.
like move your robot accordingly.
All right, guys. Then we'll end the session here. Nice talk. See you guys on 25th, I guess.
Yeah.
Spread the word. जो भी नहीं आया रॉस की वेबसाइट में उसे आना मतलब देख लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि वरना उसकी लग जाएगी. कैसे करेगा वो बाद में 1 महीना. ठीक है. रॉस की is your go-to. All the best. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye guys.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.